Hello everyone, it's Mudit and this is the 19th video of the game. So in this video I was going to show you particle effects and just take a look for yourself. These are all the particle effects that I have currently. You can always download particle effects online from the internet or you can make them yourself if you're good at it from a software. So I'll show you exactly how it works around 3 or 4 minutes into this video. But before that I'll just show you some fun things. So I have different types of fire. Mainly, most of the particles that I have are fire related, but I also have blood splashing and heartbreaking and water splashing and smoke and a different type of smoke and some cosmic particles as well. And one more thing is that I've also put butterflies all over this world, but they are somewhat rare. So maybe I'll find one right now. Yeah, I found one. Just take a look. This is how a butterfly is. So I'll do one thing. I'll exaggerate the amount of butterflies just to show you all how butterflies are. So uh, yeah, this is how butterflies are exaggerated. It's not going to be this dense in the game. In fact, I plan on keeping the butterflies very dense in the game later on because I'll keep very rare. So I'll keep them as some treasure that you have to find. That's my plan. And it'll have some use. Some secret butterflies will have something special about them that you can benefit from. But I'll also show you some fun attacks. You can use them as attacks as well, these particle effects. Just take a look. So you can obviously play around with this. You can customize it. I didn't play around with it much. I didn't work on making it proper and optimized for attacking because this is temporary, but I will do it later on when we actually introduce weapons and stuff like that. So just take a look. We can actually launch fireballs like this, and it's actually perfect for a survival kind of a game plan that we have right now. Everything suits the game plan. The fire kind of things also give a glow of their own if you see clearly. But this is customizable from the game settings. And that's basically it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to be explaining in a bit more detail that how did I exactly make these. So if you are not a game developer or a programmer or something like that, then it may not be of much help to you all. But just if you want to learn the basic concepts, you can always see it. So to make a particle effect, basically from a given point, I release a bunch of squares. So because I'm going to be showing fire in this example, I'm giving this a bit of glow as well. And the way this works is, firstly, I've put a fade for smooth transitions, and these particles always face the camera wherever you are. So even though they're squares, they will always remain squares on the screen. You'll never be able to see the back side of it. And I have an image which looks something like this, and each particle uh, uh, has this image applied onto it from like different stages of this image applied onto it, and then it looks like this. And when it reaches the last image, it's removed from the world and a new particle is emitted. So just take a look. Using these basic concepts, you can make a very good looking particle effect. You just have to download and different types of particle effects and you just have to be creative. I'll quickly explain the problem that most game developers face while working with semi-transparency. So just imagine these two squares right here, where one is green color and the other is a semi-transparent red color. So if you want the semi-transparent red square on top of the green square, like slightly overlapping, the result would be something like this, where the overlapping part is a mix of red and green to some extent. But the problem is we don't want we don't necessarily get this in the game. I'll come to that. We For this example, let's just consider the red square on the top. We don't want the green square on the top like this for this example. So the problem is when the red square gets calculated first by the graphics card. So these are the pixels that are calculated, where this is a mix of red and black, where black is the background. And now when we come to calculating the green square, it is behind the red square. So because the parts that are behind the red square are covered by the red square, the graphics card simply neglects it. It doesn't do the mixing calculations. It does the mixing calculations only when the object by itself is semi-transparent that you're calculating. So the result looks something like this. Even though we wanted it to look like this, it ends up looking like this. And the only solution for this is you have to place the green square first, and you have to calculate the red square colors after that. So basically you have to sort all the individual polygons of all your individual models that are having semi-transparency from back to front. And this problem gets even worse when the polygons are intersecting with each other, because then it gets even harder to sort them from back to front. So this is a very big problem worldwide in all games. So luckily for us, for particles, there are not many intersecting polygons, so we can somewhat neglect that, and we don't see a noticeable impact on the game, on the looks. But one more thing is, now imagine these two green and red squares where red is again semi-transparent. It doesn't have to be semi-transparent now. But now when you overlap them, you want them to add up in color. You don't want the red to cover the green. So I mentioned this concept in the eighth video where I spoke about the sun. So now the place where the red and green squares are overlapping is slightly brighter because the colors are adding up. So this is another way you can make certain things in your game, especially fire and glowing related things. And to some extent you can do it with glass as well in the house, in windows and stuff like that. So luckily for us, it's not much of a problem right now. So we could get past it. And I'll show you how the game looks when I don't implement this sorting. It looks really glitchy. So this is how the particles should look, but this is how they look when you disable sorting. So it's definitely not something you should leave. You have to do the sorting calculations, whatever happens, because you can see the individual squares of each particle to some extent. So the user will definitely notice that there is a glitch going on. And unfortunately, sorting calculations slow down the game. So luckily, because you're using ready-made particle images, you can get away to some extent by using less particles. You're not having each point as a particle, luckily. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And in the next video, I'll show you model loading for the first time. So that's going to be a really interesting thing. After very long, we are going to get a nice detailed game environment properly set up. Till now, we just have some basic environment set up. We don't have some variety in it. Now, particles is a new thing, but with model loading, it's going to be much better. So I can't wait to make that video, and I'll see you all in that video.